Oh,
There we go.
no.
Hello?
Hello. Hey.
Hello. Okay, sorry, my nose have allergies. They're really bad. Hello, welcome to BTT. Sorry for being late. We have a whole slate of guests, not really guests, but one guest today, and then a bunch of familiar faces. So, hello, I'm Brian. I'm your host today because Colin is, I don't know, dead, and then Adam is also probably dead. Uh, Here's Daniel, Danz, Andrade. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, Dan? How's Washington treating you?
It's been a bit warm. We've officially hit first summer of Washington, I think. We're waiting
Uh-oh.
for, like third winter or fall to come through and then second summer, maybe.
How's your TFT climb going? Are you beating Nathan?
Oh God.
I know the answer is no, so this is a
I've
trap question. Trick question.
I haven't played a
Ah,
single ranked game since the
No.
set update. So
I think Nate's pushing Masters soon. He's Diamond 1 right now, so he'll get there. All right. How about you, Steven? How's it going? Steven Karasaki, Ace Beck.
going well, man. Just battling this heat up in the valley. It's like 100 degrees.
Yeah, you're gonna lose,
Jesus.
but it's a good try. All right. And then finally, not finally, Elena, Chia Snacks Enders.
That is me.
Never met you before. What you doing?
I'm
that?
chilling.
Why are you looking so cute?
This is normal.
Oh yeah, I know. I know. Okay, Misa, how's it going? Our guest finally, Misa, BearRock,
Well,
Andrade.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's
These are
been a
always
while.
fun to do. Yeah.
I'm sure we had you before. Didn't we have you this season?
Yes.
I was
Did.
here earlier this season.
Holy
Yeah, I don't think
shit.
you were on it though.
This
Right?
guy's sneaking
No,
in.
I
Wait,
wasn't.
so you're telling me we could have had Limch, could have had Man Butts, could have had anybody on your team actually.
I told my team, hey, I'll do it if no one else wants to do it, and they were like, okay,
Oh
just
my
do it.
lord.
I'm like,
Nikolai is quoting in the chat.
Hot
He is
ass.
the official spokesperson of THD.
All right, well, we're glad to have you two official spokesperson of THD. It's been a while for all of us, but since we've had our last BTT, so got a little bit of recapping to do. As hopefully you know, we only have one match left. I know the season's gone on for literally forever, but luckily on Wednesday it all wraps up in the grand final between PO, Panic in Our Oceans, and THD or True Heart Destiny. How these teams got here though, very different paths. Hit the graphic. Let's go. I'll take you on a journey, and there's two really separate journeys here. The first one is the one in pink, THD. Some could say they've had a pretty easy path to finals. They've 2-0'd everybody in their path. GB, AR, TSC, all these teams 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. And yeah, now they're sitting in the finals without having tasted defeat a single time
Easy
in their
clap.
playoff run. They've had just a pretty easy go of it, and it's been a lot of different types of games. Misa's been popping off on Nocturne in the TSC match. There's also some Viego games in there. We've seen Limch play anything from like Malphite to Lee Sin to Vladimir to pretty much everything under the rainbow, and they've just not really been contested all the way up to this point. So let's see if PO can do some contesting. Which was of those series, Misa? Before we move on to PO, which series was the the closest one or the most exciting one for you?
So I didn't play in the GB series. That was when I was still in Iceland for M2. So that gives you a kind of perspective of how long this postseason's been.
You're telling me it's an Iceland buff. I got you.
Yeah, Iceland buff. I got back and I had the EU buff. Honestly, like I know AR didn't have Ginny, so that was kind of like a really different series. I think the second game against TSC was a little bit more contested, but it has felt kind of like I don't want to be M, but it just kind of felt kind of like easy so far.
So going into the PO matchup, do you think it's going to be just as easy as the other one?
No, I definitely think it's going to be a lot more difficult. Obviously, like, you guys are a really talented team. You guys have insane macro, or at least leadership from you, Brian. But I do think it's going to be a close series, but I do think we're going to end up taking the win.
All right. Speaking of your blessed opponents, it's PO, and interestingly enough, PO actually had a pretty similar journey, even though they were in the lower bracket or we were in the lower bracket. We played the same teams. We played TSC twice actually to add on to that, but the same GB AR TSC gauntlet that THD ran through, PO hit as well. They lost to TSC in an upset in the upper bracket and dropped to the lower bracket. But in the lower bracket, PO's been on a rampage, taking down GB, AR, and TSC as well, the same teams that THD did. This lower bracket run was a little different though for PO. They've had some struggles. We've 2-0'd GB, but it was a really, really close 2-0. And then the AR match in the lower bracket was also 2-1 before the 2-0 against TSC. So coming into finals, THD will have the higher seed because they're the ones coming from the winners bracket, and they'll have side selection for game one. But I think, considering the teams that both of these teams have beaten to get here, it should be a pretty exciting match. Same opponents have gone down, and I guess it kind of solidifies the upper half of the standings of BTL in the playoffs and throughout the regular season. It looks like there was an echelon of THD, PO, TSC, AR that was pretty uncontested, and then some of the middle teams like GB and MBB tried to give them the run for the money, but in the playoffs it proved too much, and THD and PO ended up being the ones that funneled through. Yeah, I mean, I guess let's talk about PO's journey real quick, and we'll hit somebody that's not Misa. How did you guys feel about watching the journey through the lower bracket? Or maybe actually let's talk about the upset first, the PO versus TSC upset. I think a lot of people didn't necessarily see that coming. Let's say Dan Z, how did you feel about that game if you watched it, the PO versus TSC
Man, I think that
round
was
one?
the surprise lane swap from TSC that nobody
Right.
really saw coming.
Nick me to top playing Garen and Nasus. Don't
Yeah.
remind me.
And the realization of like, when was the last time anybody's lane against a Garen? Really?
Right.
And I think the surprise factor, and then the basically trying to recoil from that first lane swap into the second one, where I think wasn't it a triple swap in the end with Vid playing Vigar? No, it was
No, Plo played Vigar in our
play
game.
Vigar bot.
Vid
That's
did
right.
play Vigar later against THD in
That's
one of their
right.
games, actually. So the triple swap did happen just a little bit down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a daring move, but it ended up working out. But speaking of lane swaps, do you think that, when TSC ended up playing PO later in the bracket in the revenge match, I guess, there weren't really any lane swaps done there, I don't think. Game one, Nick Mead played Zaya in the bot lane, and there's Plobe in the top lane. I think game two, same deal.
Yeah.
Do you think that they should have been going through the lane swap slot? Do you think they would have had a better time had they put Nick mid or top or whatever?
I think the biggest thing was that PO also returned to their original lineup. We saw you guys go
Not
back
original.
to, huh?
Not original. Teddy was jungle, remember? It's the
Oh,
original
that's
lineup.
right.
Come on.
Oh man, that's right. So you swap back Mina and yourself to your original roles, and I think they expected Vid's been handling most mid laners all right. Like he hasn't destroyed them, but he's been serviceable, holding everybody, and so they thought maybe that it would be the same in this case. And I think Nick Mead wasn't as concerned about the matchup bot lane with you out of the picture there.
Yeah, truth be told, we were a lot more fearful of Nick Mead in top lane. He plays champions that we found pretty hard to punish. And when we were against them, we just weren't really expecting some of their drafts and stuff like that the first time around. I think they played really well to those drafts. And last game we led by 9K, but sometimes Nasus Vigar does some damage in the late game, and
Yes.
it went
Did a
downhill.
little bit.
Yeah,
Rumor
it
has
went
it.
downhill for us. Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely TSC putting up a bunch of Valiant series here. And then finally the GB AR games. Anything memorable about those for you guys? Let's go Steven, since you were in the GB one. I know that was memorable, maybe not the best ways for you. But anything you want to talk about these two games before we move on?
But against THD?
Against PO, but actually, yeah,
Oh,
let's do
against
THD.
PO?
Yeah, you went against both of us. Let's
Man, that was
talk about the
depressing.
THD
Misa
match
wasn't
first.
even there, dude. Misa wasn't even there. We
They
lost.
won without me.
The game was so long ago. It was
Yeah,
pretty
I think we already
traumatizing.
talked about it because it was first round. But then you
Yeah.
guys, bounced back, beat NBS, and then ended up falling to us 2-0. How about that game then? The 2-0 game.
Hey, those at least we ended off with the bang. Game one, we struggled in the early game against y'all, but we kind of were able to stall the game out with some proactive plays. Game two, this was a tragic one. We were up at your base, killed all of your towers, but couldn't finish the game. You get a pentakill, and now Victor's one-shotting our whole team. Unfortunate, but we ended up at least with a strong showing, I think. So
Yeah, for sure. It was a really close 2-0.
yeah.
Yeah, so both these teams have had similar, slightly different paths to the finals, but now that we're here, let's talk about finals. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting one. THD again has side select for the first game, and what better way to start this off than starting with the supports? Because why not? We'll just hit Dan's stats right away because Dan's the best and deserves to be celebrated. Dan's
Yeah.
stats.
So, as usual, my unbiased opinion of highlighting supports for finals. It's great.
Look at David popping off with a KDA.
Yeah, I think. I mean, this
David.
is very key here. With the KDA, I think shows that THG has yet to drop a game, and the biggest factor I want to highlight is the vision, though. It seems Chase likes to set up pretty much throughout the map. We've seen him flash aggressively for hooks, knowing where his opponents are or where they're not. So he's able to capitalize in the punishment. David's response is vision doesn't matter when they're dead.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I firmly I recall the AR game where THD let AR take Pike, tactically Zell's pocket pick, and then pick Nautilus, and just hooked over the walls every time he was
Yep.
hooked. He was just kind of like Spider-Manning everywhere.
Yeah,
Can't catch me.
I mean, I think it's one of David's most fun ways to play with the champion. His hook interactions have been honestly superb. When we were highlighting them in the regular season, it just seemed like to stand out way more and more.
Mhm. Interesting how you picked Thresh for Pentamaster when Pentamaster never even gets it anymore. So
Yes.
interesting
Permanent
choice.
band.
Apparently,
I
So,
mean,
we did get it one time in the last series.
I mean,
In game 1 against TSC. So.
and then game 2, I think wasn't it still left open at one point, and you guys didn't opt into it?
No, we opted into the Blitzcrank. Oh,
Yeah.
and actually, no. Game 1 was Nautilus, so no, we didn't even play that series.
Yeah.
We opted into Blitzcrank in game 2.
Yeah, and we were complaining that he would oh man, Nautilus would have been really good here. He picks
We
the
wanted
Blitzcrank.
we wanted to split Jin Lulu core. We could
Yeah.
gank Lulu. It was doomed.
I mean, it was awesome to see because Chase decided to prove us all wrong and didn't die that entire game and just popped
There
the
you
hell
go.
off.
Yeah, I mean, apparently Beer is also very good at not dying, so this will be an exciting matchup to watch for sure. I think the bot lanes should be pretty evenly matched. I know Daddy I'm close told me after our TSC series that THD we should prepare for because Man Butts was the best ADC in the league outside of her, of course.
Oof.
So.
What about
sure
Brian?
This is the best. What the
I
hell?
wonder does Nick Mead not Nick Mead does Man Butts feel the same way? I don't know. You better say yes because if you don't, Daddy and Close is coming for you.
Yeah.
And you know it never ends up well, and she's coming for you. So
I don't know if Ben's in the chat, but he's nuts. He's insane. He's such a good AD carry.
no, as in like, I'm sure Ben thinks he's the best, and Mina's the second best. If not, then Mina's gonna be on the warpath. So let's just call it there. Okay, yeah, and then speaking of stats, like this is gonna be a pretty close series, I think. But there's a lot of stats here that signal towards how close this series could be. For instance, so in the playoffs, the damage per minute leaders are actually from both these teams. So I'm the highest damage per minute leader, but the second highest is actually Lynch 96. So these teams output a lot of damage. Where winning against the same teams, like I think it's gonna culminate into a pretty close series here. So yeah, I think and in KDA leaders is literally all of THD except for who?
Nikolai.
Oh, poor Nikolai.
Nikolai, as I like to low key throw him.
He makes up in utility.
Yes. So Nikolai is the best example of I will die for my team. And the rest of his team is top 5, I believe, maybe top 10. In
Playoffs
the ladder.
or
yeah, in playoffs.
The whole season.
Oh no, I do not have combined stats for the season. God.
Wait, so who's the best KDA player in the playoffs?
It's you, bro. It's you.
Yeah, just wanna make sure.
Self pat in the back.
Hey, I just want to make sure KDA player Yeah, everyone heard that, right?
No, KDA player. I mean,
Only
dude, I was
KDA
playing Nocturne.
player.
I go deep, dude. Like, come on, that's not a KDA
He's
champion.
too busy baiting Nikolai, which is why Nikolai's stats are struggling.
Yeah, it looks like your games are pretty clean. Our games are messy. We actually have a bunch of kill leaders. Like me and Mina are like really high up there, but seems like we go longer and we have some bloodbaths on our hands. So we'll see if this one is a bloodbath or this series is a bloodbath as well.
Oh yeah,
Bunch
the
of kills
fact
everywhere.
that
Ruin
you and
everybody's KDA.
you and Mina are number 2 and 3.
Yeah,
in
Plobe is
building.
number 1, popping off. By the way, Plobe has 10 games, I guess, to be fair. But you know, even if with 10 games, like I mean, he has like a pretty high slate of kills with 71 kills in those 10 games. So 7.1 kills game. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, should be exciting. Is there what should we be looking out for in this THD PO matchup? What are you guys looking for, Dan's and Steven?
Well,
and Elena, of course.
I've looked at the numbers. I think outside of support, I think jungle is going to be a big play. Both of these teams play for their junglers and try to make team plays along either invades or objectives. So I think that's going to be a key thing to look out for.
I think both of these teams have two stylistic differences. PO really likes to play for bot side, get dragon control. Brian loves to roam bot. While on the other side, Misa loves playing and getting lynched, Darren ahead. And we'll see because PO's bot side, I would say, is probably like maybe 5% stronger, in my opinion. But Lynch is definitely significantly stronger than Teddy. We'll see how the 2v2 jungle mid duo synergy matches up. But I think it'll be a game of who can get stronger on their, each side.
What about you, Elena? What do you think we should be watching for as fans, or you guys should be watching for as
the
fans?
I
And it's
think,
like Brian.
yeah, watch for Brian and Brian only. I think this game,
Understandable.
I'm not sure how deeply it's going to come out down in this game, but I think the draft is going to be very important because we've already seen PO show like a wide variety in their champ pools throughout playoffs, but I'm a little worried for THD's drafting because we've kind of seen one style that they've done that's worked throughout the entire playoffs, but I don't think with PO they're going to let them have, the exact draft they want every game. So I'm a little concerned to see how THD responds in draft and how they kind of like, I don't know. I'm looking for something to surprise me from THD. Like maybe it's a different dive comp or maybe they're not playing dive at all, but they're still able to win. That's what I'm most interested in.
I mean, I feel like there were a couple front to back games that they played, but it was definitely like a little bit of dive on every single one of their comps.
Right? And that's definitely where THD looked the most dominant, was on their dive comps.
Yeah, I think we obviously haven't shown everything. I think we're heading a lot. I think teams in playoffs let us. They just gave us our pocket picks. Like,
Oh my!
I mean,
Don't remind me.
they left Nocturne open like every
I-
fucking game, dude.
I
Yep.
casted every single one of your games, and I just kept
Mhm.
complaining that they left Nocturne up over and over again.
Yeah, I think they had issues with the draft, and obviously, PIO is better when it comes to drafting. So they'll switch things up for sure. But we still have a lot. Like our champ, we have champion oceans all around. So we're not too worried. And there's stuff that we really haven't shown.
Dang, you saved up all this stuff till finals? All right.
You're only gonna get a few opportunities to try them, so this is the time to whip them out.
Right, this is the time.
If they get pushed, right, they'll have to bust something new.
Yeah, I mean, I guess PO comes in, I assume, as the underdog, considering we ran through the lower bracket, dropped some games in playoffs, and all that stuff. I think for us, we're looking to be the challengers. Like THGs, that's something that worked for them. and it's worked for them over and over, 6 times in a row, in fact. And so, for us, it's trying to understand what that formula is, and then making our own little formula, hopefully to bust it open, or predictive. They're not going to go that way. All that stuff, of course. Okay. Now that we've talked enough about the game, let's go to predictions. Because words said and done, cool. Looking for drafts and all that stuff. But in the end, who's gonna win? Who's gonna come home the BTL Season 7 champion? And here are the predictions. You put my prediction underneath my face. I guess that counts. Cool. Well, there's me and there's Misa. So ignoring us two.
And ignoring Elena and myself, Steven.
Yeah, we have a Steven.
Come on, Steven.
Come
What do you gotta
on.
say? What do you gotta say?
Look, this is a close match, right? I'm very curious to see on the 2v2 mid jungle synergy dynamic here. After playing with the Walker, a few games, he's very good at understanding what he needs from his lanes, and Brian is extremely good at providing those things for his jungler. I'm a little concerned, obviously Nicola is slightly weaker player compared to the rest of THD. So I'm kind of concerned how that mid jungle synergy will play out. When Misa gets ahead, he pops off, and Nikolai plays extremely well when his team is ahead. But I feel like PO is pretty good at making proactive plays and looking for advantages early. Like I said earlier, I think that the way the games will play out based on like previous games, Misa likes to get Lynch ahead early, and then focus bot lane with the TP threat available, and on the other side with PO, they like to play for bot for the most part, get dragon control, get vision control. That's why Chase has such high vision score compared to Schleckerbeer. Did I say his name right?
Yes.
But anyway, yeah, I think the slight advantage is going to be on PO just based on the mid jungle synergy
What about
there.
I don't know. I feel like there's a big difference in skill between the top lanes. And you say I pay a lot of attention to Limch. I disagree. I don't think I play for topside at
No,
all.
I don't think you pay a lot of attention, but I think you get him rolling early because he's a very self-sufficient laner.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I think he
whenever
hits his
he
own
needs you,
leads.
yeah, whenever he needs you as a resource, though, you're always there. You also like to play for first herald a lot, and get the early gold advantage. So I'm not saying you camp his lane, but I'm saying you do help him get a lead, whether that's positioning and just knowing that he's safe to make aggressive plays because you're nearby, um, or you just flat out gank the top lane one or two times, or you just sit in that area and let him build his lead naturally by himself and just providing that support just by being there, right? Realistically, there is a huge skill disparity in the top side, so I do think you will have probably an easier opportunities just getting that herald control and getting vision set up there. But stylistically, PO just loves playing for bot side. Not saying that's the only thing they will do, but that's just what I've noticed. So yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oh, good.
I was just gonna add, like, your bot lane is also like THC's bot lane is also very self-sufficient as well. Like, Man Butts is very strong and very communicative in terms of what he needs, and so yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's really close. It's really close, but I I don't know. I just personally think mid jungle synergy is too OP. So we'll see. See how it pans out.
We'll see.
How do you think? Well, actually, anything Dan's and Elena you want to add about your individual picks, even though they're very biased picks?
I think uh, Darren himself has been able to plan out drafts pretty well for THD. Particularly, he knows what his team excels at and tries to build around that, and that's going to be his priority in draft. And I don't see a world where that level of comfort is as exploitable. Just because the comfort that the THD has is also the perfect way that they play.
Gotcha. Elena, any comments on PO? or THD
On
or
PO
both
or THD?
or both.
Let's see. Other than draft, I think the most interesting matchup is going to be in the jungle. Because we already know how Misa does, but we also know that Walker has been pretty good or pretty great since he swapped. But I do feel like there is some, I guess, like hesitance or like he's not entirely sure what to do all the time when he's against like a better jungler that's gonna outmaneuver him. And so I think so far, when the junglers he's been up against have also been like good, but I don't think they've been like that far ahead of him in terms of being a jungler like Misa I think is and will be. So yeah, I see you
Thank you,
smiling,
Lena.
Misa.
So likes to praise this.
But yeah, I think jungle is definitely going to be interesting to watch to see how Misa's able to, kind of snowball his advantages like we've seen game after game, and bring that to a win versus Walker, who jungle's not his main role. How he's able to really match up against Misa and, you know, make his way as a jungler in the league.
Yeah, after I don't know how many seasons, a lot of seasons. I think Misa's been playing since like season 2 or something in BTL, maybe season 3. I don't know.
Season 3, yeah.
Yeah. So after 5 seasons of BTL, like we were gonna talk about storylines before, and I forgot to talk about them, so I'll talk about them now. Misa hasn't won a BTL championship yet. Misa and Steven, both here, are probably the two best players that haven't won a BTL championship yet. And Misa, this is your second finals, so
Second final, yeah.
I assume you're gonna try to make this one count.
I mean, I'm
and he's
hoping to get
extra
the
motivated.
W, yeah.
Yeah, extra motivated. And everybody else on THD, we do have like one Royal Roader in Schlucker Beer. Honestly, Nikolai's journey to the finals has been pretty amazing because he went from let's say not the greatest team in season 5 that may or may not have imploded a little to PO last season where they kind of had their ups and downs and then eventually flamed down playoffs and then finally now all the way to the finals on THD. So definitely a big come up. And then the man butts, Lim Shakur, man butts coming back to try to reclaim his throne, and facing off against me, who I'm also trying to reclaim my throne. So the THD alum are back in the finals again. And then on the PO side, it's just like all rookies. So do you think that, other than Teddy, of course, do you think that, you've been here before, you've played a lot of BTO games. Do you think that your experience will help you, get the better of Walker and of our bot lane, etc.?
Um, I don't know if it comes down to experience. I think it comes down when it comes to like the jungle matchup. I think a lot of it has to do with you particularly, Brian, because you enable a lot of people. Even when we played Riot Rumble, like the practice games we had where you had played mid, like you enabled me to do a lot, and like that's kind of like how you play the game is like you help your teammates. Um, so I think when it comes to jungle matchup, what Steven said is kind of true. Like it's going to come down to a lot of the mid jungle. Yeah, I can maybe outmaneuver Walker, but you're likely going to be there too. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be challenging for sure. But I do think that in the end, like our pieces of our team are gonna kind of outshine you guys.
Gotcha. Yep. Hopefully, Royal Road is complete for most of my teammates. I hope so. Walker, Chase, and Mina all heading to their first championship in one try. So 1 of 1, and then they can all retire after that season and say they hit the pinnacle. So, okay, cool. That's a lot about the game. So it's gonna be a banger. We have split votes, all that stuff. Let's move on to the schedule.
The
Is that
date.
schedule? What's that?
The date
The
of the
date.
game.
All right. We're playing very soon, in 2 days. That's something that you don't come to expect nowadays out of BTL, but 2 days, 7 p.m. PT, be there, be square.
Trust me, I'll be there. I'm casting probably.
That'd be a good one.
Hey, Misa.
Yep.
Just want to point out, Teddy wrote, I guess Misa ain't coming talk to Gank anymore. Nice.
So I remember last season, he was in PIO, I think, and I played a Kindred game. And he might have played Malphite or Maokai or something. I just camped his lane, and he was just like playing a gray screen simulator. So just wait, Teddy, dude.
Wait, I thought but you don't play for top lane. What happened?
No, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it might be different this game.
I'm just
Alright.
messing.
He's
And
trying to
then
mind.
I think the last thing we got to do is there anything we have to do other than schedule? It's just off-season plans or what?
Off season, but we haven't decided if we're doing a BTT after finals, like next
All right,
Sunday as a
well,
wrap up.
just in case we don't have a victory lap for whoever does win. Yeah, off season is going to be a thing. We have clearly crowded up the calendar, especially since we played 2 BTLs this year, 2 like leagues. Off season is going to be a thing. We're kind of going to stretch it. I think our format change is going to be essentially we'll have a longer off season with more like mini tournaments and stuff like that, like the Valorant one that we've run. Maybe we'll do a TFT one, LOR one, other games like CS:GO, I don't know, whatever. Figure it out. And then we'll have probably 1 BTL per year that is kind of a banger, like the one now. And then we'll think of some other little like changes, maybe I don't know, to format or whatever to make sure that it feels smooth even at the end. But as an FYI, that's what y'all should expect from BTL going.
We got some
next year.
got some TFT and some Valorant tournaments coming up
I've
soon, or
been
what?
wanting to do a TFT tournament for like
Doing
way
heats.
too long. I think so.
An
I think this
LOR?
might have to be it. Yeah,
Yep.
Steven's got to defend his LOR
Oh
championship.
no, I'm out. I won 2 in a row. I'm done.
Oh, you
Nah,
won 2 in a
man.
row?
Repeat or bust.
Yeah.
Dude, I haven't played LOR since I won. That was a long time.
Steven's only one BTL thing, and it's LOR, but he's the undisputed god of LOR. He's
2-time
Faker of
champion, baby.
And we
Faker
got
of
you know,
Smash Brothers BTL. Come
I
on.
always joke around saying that I'm pretty mechanically good at like League and Valorant. And, most games I'm good at, I'm good mechanically. But
All right.
somehow I'm the champion for LOR.
Or the
No
new hype.
mechanics involved.
The new hype right now, the Pokemon Unite tournament. Let's go.
Oh no. All right.
Like, nah, Dan's, nah.
No, not like
Yeah,
that. I don't have a
about
Switch. I don't want to
that.
get one. All right. Cool. Thank you, everyone. Is there anything else that we need to hit? I think we're good and wrapped. Oh yeah. Any questions from the crowd? Anything like that? I don't know if anybody had any. I wasn't
Don't
paying
think we
attention.
had any questions,
No questions.
just lots of comments.
Lots of comments. All right.
How much?
Fancy.
Let's see.
How much do I have to Venmo you to play with Con Top? Is that a question for me? Because that number, I don't know if we'll ever really reach
That's
that
Walker,
number.
right?
Yeah, that's Walker.
We left trash
And
talk
we-
rules for this game.
Yeah, not during the game at least.
But
And then-
before the game, you start early.
Can we expect another diss track?
In 2
Alright,
days.
Dude, NBA
Adam's not in the
out,
finals.
man.
I don't think we're gonna
Adam's
get
on
this
deck.
track.
Hopefully, Adam's on deck for that one.
Dude, I'm just saying, when there's a little trash talk in League of Legends games, the games get real spicy.
Yeah, Brian,
But,
you fucking suck. The worst
Yeah,
player
hold on. Let's have 30-second segments from both
I can't trash
team
talk you.
people here.
You gotta get my teammate. You can get Mina, and she can just fill up the whole 30 seconds. By
Oh
herself.
man,
Oh,
Teddy's
dang.
got a
It's,
good
it's,
one.
it's gonna be a Teddy diff, to be honest.
I mean, Teddy here say you can let THD trash talk. They are trash.
Well, perfect luck got into the action. So
Teddy's just
Perfect.
debating. The more he trash talks, the more he's gonna take
Oh,
all
the
of the
more
jungle
he
pressure
gets.
from Misa. Yeah.
yeah,
He's like, I'm playing Malphite anyways or something, you know?
Yeah.
it's all right. Teddy, you can make Teddy regret that, maybe. Or at least if you guys show up, then I think Teddy's gonna have a lot of gray screen moments. So come on, Teddy, be careful. Playing with fire, Teddy.
Maybe that's what you want. Maybe you just baiting me into that.
Yeah, I mean he'll play Scion, so he makes the most out of his gray screen moments.
He's
Dude,
throwing
I
his
wish-
in, yeah.
I wish we recorded comms like we do in LCS just so I can make a montage of Brian saying shit like, Teddy, you're tilting the fuck out of me right now.
Yeah, that was a
Or,
pretty
you know, there's a compilation
that
of
doesn't
that.
happen much anymore. That he's not in jungle, so and now it's just like, oh, Teddy, let's be careful now.
I just remember one game. It was this season. I don't remember what he was playing, but he ran it down mid. He like flashed into tower, killed
That was
himself.
Udyr. He flashed into.
Yeah.
It was against Steven Smith.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
against,
no,
that was
that's
against,
Teddy.
that was against GB.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I mean, oh man, Chase is going for the clip
Oh, I
now.
mean, we all have those moments, right? We all flash into tower
Yeah.
sometimes and just like
I mean,
don't know our auto attack range, right, Steven?
I think
Yeah, we all have those moments, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, one or two too many drinks.
Teddy's played. I think Teddy's played every role in BTL except for mid. Have you played everything, Teddy? He played support one season. It was terrible. I mean, PO, you played support for part of it, right? Did you ever play ADC? I don't know.
I don't
Can't
feel like
remember,
I've seen
actually.
Teddy ADC, but I could be wrong.
No, no. There was that one season where we started off the season playing Jesse ADC with Teddy support against Steven's team. That was fucking terrible.
Oh my god.
Oh no. Oh, dude, there it is. There's the
There's
clip.
the clip.
thanks, Chase.
Oh wait,
Thank
is
you,
it clip?
Chase.
Yeah, it's on the
Twitch
Twitch
chat.
chat.
Here, I'll post it in the.
Wait, it's not the right clip though.
It's
No,
just
but
me in the background.
yeah, it's in the commentary of Brian. I mean, the other thing that Brian does is probably remind himself of the mantra: "Top lane does not exist. Top lane does not exist."
I don't know what you're talking about. What is top lane? What do you...
Exactly.
Yeah, top lane doesn't exist unless if you're Lynch.
There we go.
Yeah, last time we played against each other, Limch was going try hard mode, like he was like 1v9ing the game, and then we
Yes,
ran it down. Yeah.
we all remember the Lee Sin
The
got
Lee
him
Sin.
top.
Least in.
It's a good thing it's nerfed and he won't be playing it.
Oh, you don't know that?
I don't know.
Limch has like he watches like these Korean videos. Like he has like the tech like way ahead of time. Like it's insane.
Wow, it's just
Yeah, Lynch just goes into practice tool and does all that like crazy, like place the dummy while kicking him in the air kind of stuff. I
Yeah,
saw a
like
crazy
he
clip the other
watches
day.
like it's surprising. Like he was like, oh, I saw this one Korean player who's high on the elo ladder. Like it's just a random player. Like he has like this tech, and he just like plays it in like in a random like Soku game. Like okay, it works, and then like he brings it out in a BTL game. Like holy shit, it actually does work. What the fuck? Yeah, Darren is nuts.
Yep. We'll see how he stacks up in the finals. I think we're basically at time, so thank you everyone for listening, and thank you analysts for doing your thing like always, and then thank you Misa for being our guest. We'll see you soon on Wednesday. One of us will come out a little happier, and one of us will come out like, well, it was like a year. So
Long season.
thank you everyone. Peace out. See you guys on Wednesday.
Goodbye.
Bye.